Testing 1 2.
Fuck! Dude, my knives are going over his shoulders.
Really, when I'm starting to record, just when he's loud. Yeah, don't mind my friend in the background. He's playing Call of Duty. So my mic might pick up everything he's saying. Just keep that in mind. Now, before we get this started, I want to, say excuse my demeanor. I'm a little tired, exhausted. Doing work for my job, trying to finish a couple projects and whatnot, and I've essentially hit a block to where I can't get anything done. So there's that. And I'm trying to, figure out what I'm going to do with that. So I've been going to bed at like 10 a.m. on a constant basis. But anyway, without further ado, footage you see in front of you, it's me at an old tournament. I posted this already before. I just thought I'd have this shit playing in the background. This is me when I haven't even practiced for a year, and I try to come back to a tournament and still be as technical as I usually am. The first match of this shit is me just doing a warm-up. The next video or the next piece of footage would be my actual match. And yes, it was recorded using Slippy. So the topic at hand today that I really want to discuss is Pichu in general, and the closed-minded nature of the people who don't play the character, or people who don't play the character as much. And yes, this is a topic that is in the Pichu Discord, or at least something that I've noticed, and I get this eerie feeling that they believe that I'm This could be my insecurity talking, but I get this eerie feeling that they believe that I think I'm better than what I actually am, and that I'm just a smart ass talking out the side of his neck. But anyway, on to the topic of Pichu. So this guy, he says that crouch cancel and advanced smash DI shine destroys Pichu, but nobody knows this. Now, once again, not to come off as disrespectful, but crouch canceling and advanced smash DI shine is a widely practiced thing, not just against Pichu. In fact, people use this shit against Pikachu, mainly Pikachu, and me being a Pichu main in Arizona, I have to deal with this on a constant basis. This is nothing new to me. I basically stated that, if someone's abusing this, you have to mix up your approach more, overshoot your aerials, grab more, use delayed fair, etc. Pichu is not hopeless in this situation, because that's what your opponent will do. If, and I fucking hate it because they do that, because they're doing that to be disrespectful. If they feel that you are very predictable in your approach, if they see you as predictable or see you as new at the game, I'm gonna reiterate, if they see you as predictable and only expect you to nair approach, they're going to crouch cancel, they're going to advance DI shine. Okay, you got Fox with his movement, he's dash dancing, he's looking for an opening, you nair him, he shines you, and you're like, what the fuck happened? That's because you were crouch canceled. Alright, I'm saying this, and another guy, and of course I guess he wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but he said, yeah, but you haven't played a Leffen caliber player. Like, neither have I, or him, excuse me, neither has he. But it's clear that Pichu's worst matchup is apparently Fox. I call bullshit on that. I had more issue with Mark than I ever did with Fox. And don't don't go talking about, well, that's not a 11 caliber player. Listen here. Everything you see at high level, the low level players, they're doing the exact same thing with weaker execution. Okay? That's essentially what it is. What separates the high players, what separates high tier players from low tier players is neutral and punish game. That's what separates them. Now, crouch cancel isn't very extensive when it comes to technical capability or what's required technically, but there's a difference between someone who's able to move around and crouch cancel in a split second and counter versus somebody who just stays there crouch canceling the entirety of the game. I recognize that there is a difference, but at the base level, it's the same thing. Someone with better crouch cancel and ASDI execution, if you fight somebody who has better mix-up execution and ways to counter the said crouch cancel, they're going to be just fine. Okay? If you're taking a low-level Pichu and comparing them to a high-level Fox, of course, the Pichu's going to struggle. But if you have a high-level Pichu versus a high-level Fox, then that's a topic of discussion. Look at Axe. Mango recently had a video where he was talking about Axe being behind the meta and his character being too bad for him to keep up, or everybody caught up to Axe and Axe now has to reinvent the wheel because everybody figured out Pikachu apparently. Like, do you see the similarity there?
I swear I've seen them spam way more nights than
People neglect, once again, things like neutral, punish game, human error, so on and so forth. They figure, well, if this one thing works, because it's the same thing with Pichu that they say works with Pikachu. Crouch cancel. What did Mango say? Oh, it was sad to watch because Axe got crouch canceled the entire tournament and he was just losing to one thing because it just destroys Pikachu. Well, you can crouch cancel a Marth. You can crouch cancel a Falco. You could crouch cancel a Jigglypuff.
He still got the final hit.
But those same players who can get crouch canceled also find ways to change their approach so that the crouch cancel will be null and void. You have to do the same thing with Pichu. Mix things up. Change up your gameplay. If one thing doesn't work, try something new. Don't just settle on one way.
No, I call hacking. It's knives only. It's knives only. It's knives only. That's hacking. Knives only.
Change up your approach, what I was saying.
I got fucking assassinated, bro.
If Axe can take Pikachu, who was considered bottom tier, and take them and be consistently good with the same character for 10 plus years, it can be done with Pichu. And that's what I'm striving to prove. Anytime I see these closed-minded comments that Pichu just loses to this and there's nothing that he can do about it, it kind of annoys me, I'm not going to lie. Because we have constant proof of players taking low-tier characters and winning with them and doing consistently fine with them. But yet and still, the moment that they lose a match or the moment that something seems impossible, even though it's not, but the moment it seems impossible, the first thing we do is go to the metagame corner and say that this destroys this character, there's nothing we can do. How about this? I'll say this. Because, people hate me when I say that a character is a one-trick pony or a character is a gimmick. But when I was talking about Peach, I said that, hey, Pichu can counter all of Peach's aerials once you get around down smash. You get around down smash, Peach doesn't have too much at her disposal that can just blatantly destroy Pichu unless she pulls a turnip. People told me that it's not that simple, that I'm disregarding everything in the meta. But those same people will say that Pichu loses to crouch cancel and there's nothing he can do about it. There's blatant hypocrisy in that. That's essentially what I'm trying to point out here. And also, just because, you know, something works at low level does not mean that it's not going to work at a high level. Alright? It's the same stuff, just one guy is better at it than the other guy. You look at a Falco in his gameplay. What is a Falco trying to do? He wants the laser to control the space and lock their opponent down so that they can approach. That's the basis of every Falco. Now, how you do that is what separates the top player from the average player. So, if I say that there's ways around crouch cancel and I give those blatant ways, and I give those, you know, those ways to do it, don't just write it off because you're not seeing top level players do it. Top level players aren't even playing Pichu. And if they are, they're treating it like a joke. They're not taking it serious. The closest I've seen a top player come to taking Pichu serious was Axe. Not Mewtwo King, Axe. Mewtwo King is not taking Pichu and, you know, grinding out his abilities. But I've seen clips of Axe doing that. That's the closest I've seen to a high level player. And even then, I still was sharing things about Pichu on his stream. He still asked things about Pichu. And he's a top player.
That people were like throwing him on the ground and letting him roll like fucking mules, and I'm sitting there actually bouncing him off the shit and trying to get them, and they're like, nah, dog, you're just hitting everywhere but me. I'm like, no,
so,
my crosshairs are on you.
Yeah, so there's, you know, there's that to take into account as well. Bottom line is, you won't know until you put it to the test. That's that. Also, Fox being Pichu's worst matchup, no. I personally had more issues with Marth than I did Fox. I chalked that up to playstyle. Even he was like, well, I personally haven't had an issue with Fox. Well, how is it Pichu's worst matchup then if you don't have an issue with Fox? How is it so hard if it's not that hard? Well, it's like, well, if it was 11 level, well, at that point, he's just a blatantly better player. Doesn't mean the character is better, it just means that he's a better player. You understand that? I'm sure everyone does. So there's that. You want to see the complete video of my, you know, I don't even want to call it a trash ass tournament. I wasn't even fighting to win in this. I was just screwing around. You know, you see my Marth, my black Marth. But yeah, I was trying to style. But there's that. You want to see the full video, is on my YouTube. It's called Greymatter's Lost Files. Check that out if you want to argue with me. I don't care about you posting comments, you know, in the comment section. Just don't blatantly disrespect me. That's the one thing I hate, is being disrespected, especially being a Pichu main. I get that shit on a constant basis. Shit's annoying as fuck.